Okay, hello everybody. We're officially on. And hey, I want to say thank you so much, Lost Guru 56, for the follow. I appreciate you. I just got back in my workshop and got some night coffee and took a little Advil for my head because I got a little bit of a concussion, but I'm all right. I'm actually doing better than I was a few days ago, so that's important. But I just wanted to go over what I'm going to be doing tonight. I am actually working on a composition of this painting here. This one I'm calling Glimmering Seabed. So it's a sea dragon, as you can probably tell. And it's really fun. I've never really done any kind of like ocean setting paintings before, so this is going to be a very new experience for me, just a learning thing for me, and like it always is, I like to try something new every time, so that'll be fun. Yep, so I'm just working on grayscale tonight. I also, I don't know if anybody has really noticed, but if you've been following, you might notice that I have added a couple of things. I have some new, like a couple new emotes, and then I have a couple new rewards that I was able to work on in the past few days. So that's fun. I have a night theme, and I also have a couple of rewards that display little animations of my birds. It's just a fun little quirky thing that you can trigger anytime. It's just, and I set them kind of low so that pretty much anybody can do it. I don't remember if I set a cooldown time, but all those extra things I'll probably worry about later on. There it is! Yes, thank you so much. Lost Guru, you're awesome. Yeah, that's my bird. That one is Brewster. He's an Indian ringneck, and he makes a he makes a fun how are you sound. He's just real cute. I love him. But thank you so much for being here. I'm just gonna continue on this grayscale thing here. I really am. Oh, and by the way, you are follower 100. That's really exciting. And I have actually have a giveaway coming pretty soon here. Yeah, you're awesome. All right, and I also want to say, Ixper is one of the recent followers as well, and wow, I'm funny. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. I don't think they're here right now, but you know, if they come back and watch this, I just want to say thank you. You guys are amazing. I'm just mixing up some paints now, and I think I gotta get really back into the groove. I was just in the flow state last time. And this time around, I think it might take me a little bit longer. So maybe I'll just go over some of these areas that I had already gone over just to kind of get myself a little reacclimated, I guess you could say. So what are you up to tonight? Doing anything fun or just chilling, or it's probably a pretty chill time tonight or today, depending on where you're at. It could be daytime. That's always a possibility. I absolutely love the design. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You're awesome. You are so sweet. This one is my third live stream acrylic painting that I'm working on, obviously, currently. But I haven't really... Well, I started live streaming painting because it actually really helps me to finish projects, hold myself accountable, and to enjoy the process. So because just working on a future video game. Oh, that sounds exciting. So you're a developer? I'm assuming, or maybe you make assets. That is very cool. Working on a future video game. if you would like to spill details, that would be really cool. But of course, of course, that is totally optional. I don't want you to feel pressured. A writer, ooh, like a script writer for like dialogue and all of that, or storyboard writer. I shouldn't say storyboard because that doesn't really apply to video games. It's more like a cartoon thing. My bad, I'm sorry. That's so cool. So is it an indie game? Are you working on like an indie game sort of thing? With a team, perhaps? Or maybe it's your own personal project? Very cool. Man, I love the way that the paint feels. Story, dialogue, description writing. Ooh. That's quite the job. I know how everything is super particular about, it's like writing a book, you know, like you really can't make mistakes, so I'm sure you have to like write everything and then go over and like just constantly reread it and make sure everything is spick and span and perfect and clean. It's just that's a lot of work. I mean, depending on what you're doing, but honestly, that sounds like a lot of work. Is it a really huge project, would you say? I cannot program nor code, make art, etc. Everybody has their strong suits. I can't write like dialogue and I can't write stories. So, like for me, it's like when I was a kid, I think that I had like kind of the creativity to come up with stories and things, but they were like not good. And like it was more of a fun thing for me to make stories, but of course they were honestly very laughable. I could never do that as a profession, ever. But the painting thing, I'm a little bit more. I think I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I'm more attuned to the painting thing. I cannot do stories. Like, I can't come up with the creative ideas for stories and stuff like that. But I could do illustrations for stories. I could totally do that, but I cannot. I cannot do that myself. So, I would definitely say that is an awesome skill, an awesome creative skill to have. I honestly really wish I had the ability to come up with like some creative stories and witty dialogue, and just like I can't do that. It's just not, it doesn't come out of me. It doesn't translate into text well. I can write you like a factual, like, I could write like a paper on something based on fact, but I cannot write like scripts. I have tried, and I have even tried to make comics in my past, but I can't do it. I cannot. I can't write the stories or the backstories or the characters themselves. I can't write their dialogue. I can't come up with that stuff. I'm just like, it's just not me. So I stick to what I do. It is still in the very, very early stages. Ooh. That means that everything, it sounds like it's a little bit stressful because you have all of that work ahead of you. But at the same time, it's kind of exciting. There's something exciting about that. This is the early stages too. I mean, I have kind of some vague ideas in my head. Actually, I have some pretty strong ideas in my head of what I want to do with this. We're still, you know, we're still really in the early phases. And we'll see how it turns out in the end, really. That's how it is. Or just kind of making something starting from the beginning of video game is a lot more too, because it's a conglomerate of just a bunch of different art forms. So you have your writing and everything like that, but you also have like your visual assets, like your art, and you have the coding and everything like that. It's just there's so many more elements that go into a video game. It's like just work from all different fields pretty much, going into just a single piece of art, if you will. It's definitely like art, but it's almost like an art that requires a whole bunch of different people and different backgrounds, different skill sets. There's a lot of different stuff. So what kind of it is combined with my social and work lives, and I'm very busy. Good thing my social life died last year, but still. COVID. No, I totally understand. I really do. It kind of helps to be able to work on that stuff. That kind of stuff you can't really do as much when you do have a social life, and when you're working and stuff like that. Obviously, well, for me, when I was working full time for most of, I don't know. Honestly, it's just kind of a blur, but it was like, I don't know. It was up until I had my daughter. Basically, I started working, first I started working as a beverage server at a bar, and I was doing that full time, and then I started working as a barista when I moved back into the state that I was originally from. I actually moved out of state to work, and then I came back, and then I worked as a barista for, I don't know, that was my longest job, honestly. I loved it so much, and I loved the atmosphere, but I never really did anything that was like a professional field sort of job. I always did just like kind of service work, mostly just, and then I went to a casino, started beverage serving there, but essentially just service industry stuff. It's not even good. And then I had a kid, and she like is amazing, and like the fact that I had her and my husband supports me and my art and everything like that, it has allowed me, the circumstances have allowed me to stay home. And then I had focused on my online shop where I sold my art and everything like that. That did very well. But I'm rebranding as of late. And now I'm also doing Twitch streaming, so here we are, right? Okay. Spirit Fell. It is a working title. Ooh, Spirit Fell. Spirit Fell. That sounds cool. Sounds really nice. So is that going to be like a 3D game or a 2D game, or what kind of genre? I'm sure you shouldn't be leaking this kind of stuff out. Don't mind me. If you want to say no, you can't give that info, totally feel free. I won't be upset. I completely understand. But it just sounds really awesome. And I would love to hear updates that you can share. So I'm sure some of it can't really be talked about, and that's totally okay. No pressure at all. Hello, Gammy Loves Robin. You are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. We're still working on, just kind of working on a little bit of the background here. We're just doing this underpainting and lore. The world was one until a war broke out, causing it to be split in three: higher, heaven, and earth. Oh. Ooh. Lore. I'm lucky. I get to see some lore here. That's awesome. That is very, very cool. Alright, let's swoop in here and do this really quick. Very cool. Gammy Loves Robin, how are you doing tonight? We're just kind of chilling and working on this underpainting. I cannot stop nerding out about this gesso because it is so, so smooth. This is the smoothest gesso I have ever worked with. And it's very, 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 very nice. So tonight I'm really going to be focusing on composition, especially since I left my glasses in the room with my husband and he is sleeping. So I can't really sneak in there anymore to get them. So everything I'm going to be working on is more big picture stuff. So thumbnail view sort of thing. Just kind of like the composition, which is what I was already working on anyway, so it's really not going to make a huge difference. Each has 3 rulers. Oh wow, so there's 9 rulers in total. Good. Looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend. How is the axe throwing? Well, I didn't go. Shane did though. He did his axe throwing thing for work. Basically, my husband, he went to some axe throwing thing for his job. I'm not really sure, team building. Like a team building meeting sort of thing. And, yeah, I don't know. You really have to ask him. He told me about it, and he basically just said that they were doing, like, machetes and stuff like that. And then he said that, like, there was food there. I don't really know. Like, he just kind of, yeah, he went to go do that, I guess, and that was a team building thing, and it's kind of interesting and random. I didn't even know that they did that. Axe throwing, right? Like, doesn't that sound so funny? Brother, hey Airbird, I'm pretty sleepy today, so I probably won't be on for very long, but wanted to catch some of the stream at least. Oh, thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate you. You are awesome. Yeah, so, Last Guru here was telling us about a game that she, that you are working on. That they are working on. And they were telling us that they write the scripts and do, like descriptions and stuff like that. Dialogue, descriptions, and just like the overall writing in a video game. So they're working on a working title, which is pretty darn cool. It's called Spiritfell. Yeah, so, and don't worry, if you're really tired, brother, don't feel obligated to stick around or anything like that. I'm just chilling and, you know, just kind of working on the composition for the most part tonight. I think I'm mostly just kind of, trying to get like the grayscale layer down. And then, yeah, just kind of trying to get like the grayscale layer down. And yeah, that way I can put color and stuff like that over. All right, fast forward about 1,000 years later when Alexei, a girl with a secret ability, finds Johanny on the brink of death, thanks to priestess Haley. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Is that like a Haley? Ooh, what's this? Oh my goodness! Smokin' Ace, thank you so much. You're amazing. I appreciate you. You're here. It is so late and I am like so surprised that you're here, but I am so thankful. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Oh, it's pronounced hell. Oh, wonderful. Okay, thank you. That helps very, very much. Because I'm kind of bad with those things. Like, I don't know. I have to ask these questions, you know? Stupid as the questions may be, at least it helps. Helps me understand. Oh, whoa, dude. 1,000 bits? Dude, thanks so much. You are amazing. I appreciate you so very much. It's been a bit. I haven't really streamed a whole lot for a while. It's just a little bit busy and sick and stuff. Is kind of what happened. And I was streaming digital art for a while, but I am back to traditional art, and I'm not really sure that you were ever really able to catch the traditional. I think I stopped that right around the time that you came rolling in, Smokin' Ace. But I am back to the traditional stuff. Oh boy. I thought you had the Twitch emote with bits. There are bits. Oh, a Twitch emote with bits. I should. Did it not play? There are also a few emotes that you can get with bits. I think the ones that I have right now are the ones for bits. I think I have right now are the dragon, the smiling dragon, and then I have one for my bird Brewster and Pecco. So those are the emotes that you can get. And then also my sun lion should have smiled and kind of lit up as you did that. And I think I heard the sound, so I'll have to look back and make sure it worked. Alexei and Johanny form a bond that are able to fuse into the different elements. Fire and water. Whoa. That's interesting. Ooh. We're being like given secrets of like a title in progress right now, you guys. Like, Lost Guru 56 here is helping to develop a game, and they're working on a title currently. Let me just make sure that this is working. Okay, I'm just making sure that my chat is actually up to date. Okay. Yeah, alright. So, they're telling us about a game that they're working on, and it's called Spiritfall, which is super exciting. Quick question. What will it be available on? Will we be able to play it on PC? Is it possible to... I don't know if this is all stuff that's been thought about, since I know you said it's early in development, so we don't really know yet. But that's pretty darn cool. It's just cool to be kind of like, you know, almost like leaked secrets about a title that's not out yet, you know? It's just neat. Very cool. Alright. However, Johanny can only use dragons for fusions. Consoles, not PC. Ooh, will it be on Switch? I'm a Switch gal. I am a Switch lady. I am the Switch master. No, I'm just kidding. But I really, yeah. I really pretty much just use Switch. Nintendo nerd over here. How's it been, Smoking Ace? How's life? Life on the road. Let's just lighten this up a bit because this is a little too much. That's a little too much right now. Oh man. Too dark. Really need to be kind of more focused. Go. Okay. Yeah, I'll really be focusing on the composition tonight. I am not wearing my glasses tonight. I left them in the room. So, yeah. Okay. Not sure yet. It might be, it might not be. I do know, however, that it will never be on any Sony console. I have my reasons. Oh, okay. I'm not a giant fan of PlayStation, but I know that my husband is. He has a PlayStation 4, but he, you know, we're not doing PlayStation 5 yet. I mean, he might change his mind. I don't know. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Because, you know, if it makes it on Switch, that would be really awesome. If you guys have, like, the Dev kit for that and can manage to... which I hear is not really too terribly difficult these days, to be able to get your indie game on the Switch. Yeah, I'm not a big giant fan of Sony either. Totally just a Nintendo nerd over here. That's me, anyways. But that sounds really cool. I'm excited to hear more about that and to be able to see some peeks into like kind of details and everything. And how that all goes, because that sounds really great. It does. Johanny is a 3'9" tall, light gray slime. Oh, fun! That's fun. That's a bit of a tall slime, I would have to say, for a slime. Sounds pretty slimy. So Gammy Loves Robin. Did Shane didn't call when he was off work or anything today in particular when he was coming home to tell y'all about the axe throwing. I watched too much. I reincarnated as a slime. Is that an anime? That sounds like an anime title. Like a really strange... Like, I don't know what that is, but that sounds kind of hilarious. Here we go. And there we go. Sorry I'm getting kind of quiet, guys. Just a little bit focused. Just a bit focused. We're really trying to blend in all of that gray and just try and get it into the canvas and just try to get our values as close as possible. It is an isekai anime. The time I got reincarnated as a slime. That is the full title. That's funny. That sounds so hilarious. That sounds pretty fantastic. Alright, so before I start like tackling up here, what I do want to do is I want to check these reference images. I downloaded a few images of just like, you know, sunlight kind of rippling through the surface of the water, and that should really help me get kind of an idea of like what it should look like. They're just kind of like stock images, sort of like Shutterstock things. I've got that one, that one, and that one, and that one. And so those should really help me to understand what it should really kind of look like. So I'm trying to get like a I guess texture, you could say. Okay, so I think I'm going to get like a really, like I'm probably going to gradient that into a lighter color again. So here's what I'm going to do. So we do want that piece dark. This piece dark right here. Very cool. I should kind of lead in like that, just a bit. Should just kind of lead right in. And then this part here should also be just about kind of like that value, maybe a little darker actually. Quick question, how well are you at painting mythological dragons? That depends. That's kind of subjective. I actually, dragons are like my specialty, which is why I'm doing kind of like a sea dragon right now. Right now I don't have like all of my art posted on my DeviantArt, so I would kind of recommend, if you want to see what I do have currently, Actually, let me just go ahead and I suppose I can just show you on my profile or something. Alright, or, gosh, why can't I just show you my finished work already? Okay, here, how about this? I'm going to show you my physical paintings that I have completed on stream. I have a couple of them right now. I've only done 2 on the stream. And there is one that I've done like completely off the stream, but I don't have it anymore. It's not my possession anymore. Alright, so the first one I'm going to show you is, this one is the most recently completed one. This one's acrylic on canvas, just like the one I'm working on currently. This guy right here, this one is Guardian of the Sword. And this is the last one that I completed. So he's kind of a tall one. Let me try and get that all in view. It's kind of difficult because it's a very large one. So you can see it's kind of like it's glazed. It's got a couple coats. So yeah, that's all good and done. And then I have another one. The first one that I completed is the same dimensions as the one that I'm currently working on, except that it's instead of portrait view, it's landscape. So it's kind of like a sideways sort of deal over here. So this one is called Twilight Dragon. This is the first one that I have completed on stream. It's a little difficult probably to see right now, so maybe I'll just back this up a bit. Try and get the whole thing in view. Try and turn it on its side so you can see. But this is this is the first one that I completed. Like the absolute first one. So that's completely entirely subjective. Like you could really like that, or you could say, I was looking for something different. It just depends on what you want or what you have in mind. Oh, and this one is just kind of like this one didn't take me very long at all. And I wouldn't say that it's finished, but maybe I should go back and actually finish it. This one's kind of like I don't know. It was just kind of something that I threw together that it was after a hiatus. I hadn't touched like acrylic paints in probably a decade, and I just picked them back up again, and it was before I started streaming really. So that one's kind of not exactly finished, but I might go back to it and I might touch up and just sell it. That was just a little tiny thing. So yeah, it depends on what you think about those. I mean, yeah. Yes, they are. And I want to do Eastern dragons at some point. I haven't ever really done any that are like, you know, like Chinese dragons or anything like that. I would like to, though. I actually have some ideas in mind that I would like to try out at some point. Yes. And it kind of really helps, too, because right now I am currently learning Chinese Mandarin. I started like a couple weeks ago, so I'm not like super good at it. It's gonna take me a long time before I'm actually like fluent in Chinese, but it would be really cool so that I could possibly incorporate some into some of my works, maybe like more Eastern looking dragons. Probably do a few of those. I have ideas in mind for using, like I have these really cool micas, mica pigments that I might want to use for like kind of like a watercolor dragon. That would be like a mica Eastern sort of dragon. It'd be very, very cool looking. Just an idea that I kind of want to do. It'd be a lot smaller than the things that I'm working on right now because those types of pigments don't do well on surfaces like these. You can't really do that. It doesn't work too well. But yeah, European and Asian style dragons are the two types I'm interested in. Right on. Yeah, it really, that's pretty cool. So, are you looking for like an illustration artist or anything like that? Because for something like that, I would probably do digital art. That way, I can do like a digital illustration. You can make all kinds of adjustments and stuff like that, especially if it's going to be like a commission sort of thing. Stuff like that. I tend to want to do digital just because there are so many ways that you can like edit things. And as for my physical paintings like this, I haven't really set any kind of ground rules or anything like that, but I think it would probably be best to keep this kind of stuff like my own sort of thing, just because like if I'm in control, it would just make me feel quite a bit better, considering you know, if somebody wants to commission something and they say they want to make a whole bunch of adjustments, that's much less possible with a physical painting. Like, I can't just like take this and upscale it or move it, or you know, like I can't really hue shift it. I can't blur certain areas, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I paint it, it's like I can maybe make those adjustments in Photoshop, but it would take so much longer. Yeah, just art style hunting is all. Totally understand that. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you kind of made your way here. That's very cool. Fire and earth types are European style based. Water and wind types are Asian style based. Ooh, that sounds right. Cause I mean, when you think of like water and wind, you're thinking kind of like elegant, like flowing. And when you look at the Eastern style dragons, they have like lots of very long flowing parts of them, and they just kind of fly freely in the air, almost weightless, and just kind of float sort of without having any kind of effort or anything like that. They don't really need wings, they just float. And then when you're looking at the other fire and earth, that totally sounds like it. That sounds great. That sounds awesome. Yin is Asian style, Yang is European style. Oh, cool. That sounds very cool. So, are those the names of dragons that are in your project? Yin and Yang? I like that a lot. That's a very neat concept. Very cool. Trying to see here without much glare. It looks like I've got to tone that down a little bit. It needs a little bit more black. Quite a bit darker, and just bring this in more like that. Okay. Fun. Just kind of dry brushing around here because I'm too lazy to get more paint, I guess. That's probably why. There. Let's get ourselves some more paint. Alright. Yin is water, Yang is fire. At least that's how it is in Zen shiatsu in traditional Chinese medicine. Very cool. I didn't know that. That is very cool. I already knew that unless you're referring to my earlier comment. Yeah, so I think she's basically just kind of tying that in together. I didn't know that. So we're learning something today. That's very cool. That is really cool. That is very cool. So, so when we're looking at the traditional Chinese medicine, is that something that you learned recently and like your so I know you're taking massage, and are you learning, or you might already know about like the herbal medicine and stuff that I know that you want to get into. Because that's really interesting. Sounds like it's kind of in that subject area. So I just was curious. Yes, I'm in that module now. Ooh. I can't share anything else, unfortunately. Well, that's all good. I really appreciate that you shared as much as you did tonight. That's actually really neat. I'm glad that we got to learn. Just very fascinating stuff, and sounds like a really nice project to be working on. It sounds like there's a lot of work ahead, but you know, it'll be amazing, and it'll be worth all the while. And I would like to hear updates too, because if you want to pop in and talk about it and share updates and stuff with me and anybody that hangs around on my streams, we would be more than happy to hear about it. Again, the title is a work in progress. Definitely, yeah. There's really only so much you can share. Yeah, no problem at all. Don't sweat it. I'm surprised you shared as much as you did. You know, I think that's really awesome. Alright, let's kind of bring this up here. Okay. We'll darken these up just kind of a bit. Just a little bit. I will need a bit of water in there. Right on. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna need kind of like a medium gray, just something kind of in the middle over here. Kind of get some gradient action going on over here. I will need one in between here too, because that is kind of a bit too much of a contrast there. So we're gonna need to darken that quite a bit. That's too dark. Oops. Oops. That's too light, of course. Just the slightest touch. Okay, let's try this again. Alright. A little better. I really like this brush. So this brush here it's funny. It's called a cat's tongue brush because it's shaped kind of like a little bit rounded. And it's just like, it's like a tiny little cat's tongue almost. Bristly and everything. And it's great for these underpaintings. I really love it because you can really like do a lot of circular motions to kind of push the acrylic into the canvas. It's great for that. I'm leaning toward Fallen of the Priestess, Forgotten, or Spirit Fallen. I like all of those names. I'm such a child for laughing at the name of the brush, right? It's pretty funny. I like that. I like that a lot. I like the cat's tongue brush. It's very useful. Now I don't really use the cat's tongue so much in the actual like top layers. For the most part, I just kind of use it like for the underpainting because I can do like these really swirly motions, and it's just really good for that. Really good for kind of making like a nice smooth. And then also the cool thing about this, since it's flat on one side, but it also has those curves, it's got some precision to it, but it also makes things kind of fast. So you can make a really fat brush stroke like this, or you can kind of swish it and make it into a really thin line. So like that, you just turn it sideways and then just make lines that way so you can sketch with it. So it's kind of really unlike any other brush, but it's also not one that I use for the top layers because it's not as precise as I like to get it for those layers. But it's really good for that thumbnail. It's good for marking down the composition and just trying to get that stuff down. Yeah, very helpful, very useful little brush. Let's try and get ourselves some gray up here. We want that to be like kind of a light gray, so I'm probably gonna get a lot more white in there. So you can make like really fat brush strokes with this thing, and you can also make it super precise. It's not really. It's great because of the different angles, just depending on the angle that you use it. You can get different results, different kinds of brush strokes, and it's a lot of fun. I like it. Cat's tongue. Yep. The cat's tongue is great. But I would have to say that the filbert brush is probably honestly my favorite because it goes into a nice little point. And I like my precision. And my color theory teacher, I will never forget this, but she had said when I like made my first acrylic painting for a color theory class, she said, "Oh wow, you don't like to paint with paint, you like to draw with paint." And I'm like thinking to myself, is that an insult? Because you're right. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad or what you're trying to like say to me, but it's kind of true. I like have sketched so much, and I've used colored pencil so much that I kind of really do just like draw and sketch with paint. I don't much do the messy paint spatter or whatever. You know, all the other people were doing that, and I just wasn't. I like to be precise, and so when you're looking at me painting with like a filbert, you're watching me essentially just draw with paint, and she wasn't wrong, you know, and still to this day that's what I'm doing, but it works for me. I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't grade me anymore, lady. But she gave me a good grade. I think it was a compliment. Oh, I hope so. Well, thank you. I mean, I'm not really sure. I didn't know how to take it, really. To be honest, I'm inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh!, Kingdom Hearts, Bakugan, and Magic the Gathering. Those are all really good things to be inspired by. For sure. Oh gosh, I just marked that with black. Oops. I like to think that it was a compliment, but I wasn't sure the way that she said it. She seemed so she didn't really say much. She just kind of was like, you like to draw with paint. I'm like, yeah, and like, lady. She was a nice lady though. She was very nice. She liked the painting that I did, and that's really all that mattered to me, was that I got the good grade, and she told me that she liked it. So that was really pretty much it. Man, going to school for art though. I mean, like, I wasn't really in art school, but I was in, like, really stupid art classes. Color theory was actually a really good one to have though, because had I not gone to color theory, I wouldn't be acrylic painting. Because that was the first time that I tried acrylic painting. And I learned the technique of the underpainting, the grayscale underpainting, and then the painting on top of that to make the colors pop. And I learned a lot more in color theory. Like, I learned so much in color theory. It's very, very valuable of a class for what it is, for learning. But going for a degree is just not wise. Going for any kind of art degree is not wise at all. In my own opinion. Now, this was community college. This wasn't like specifically an art school, so maybe for some people who go to art school, I've also heard really bad things about that too. I mean, people who need artists, they just kind of find them, right? They find them through their online portfolios, and like places like Art Station and stuff, and DeviantArt. I've gotten couple jobs off of DeviantArt, and I've gotten that job offer off of ArtStation. So yeah, well, let's kind of darken that up a bit, because that's kind of blending into the background a little bit too much. All right, I have to go to bed, work early. Good night. I hope you have a super good night. Thanks so much for being here, Lost Guru 56. You're welcome anytime back. If you want to tell us about your project or anything like that, I'm always happy to hear about it. Hope you have a super good night, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. And also, thank you for the follow. Yeah. Alright, and then we're just gonna kind of darken this up a little bit. Darken that up a little bit. What job offer? Yeah, on ArtStation I got like a job offer for, oh my goodness, it was, I posted like the screenshot of the email. It was for a company that does like mobile games, and I guess they like make, like, some people have looked into them and everything like that, or knew about them already and talked about it, but it's a company that does mobile games that I guess they like made like My Little Pony games or something like that. I'm not really sure. Like, they literally just came across like a couple of my dragon artworks, and they found me and they tried to contact me from ArtStation. They're trying to recruit people, and it was a really good job offer, but like at the same time I didn't feel like I had the time to dedicate to it, and I was like swimming in orders at the time anyways, and also I kind of saw it pretty late. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I like applied and everything like that, but you know, they were going around and basically just interested in artists for their mobile games. Basically, it was a pretty good gig. I posted it some time back, I think. Maybe a couple months ago. I'm not really sure. It was just an interesting thing that I found in my inbox, and I looked into them, and they're legit. So at first I was skeptical. I was like, oh, this is probably another bogus thing, because I get a lot of those too. But that one was legit. It was like probably the only legit one that I've seen. Yeah, that is cool. And then I had also done that mahjong piece for that Where the Winds Blow company, where they had reached out to me and they wanted basically like a recreation of art that I already had, and they found me through DeviantArt, and they contacted me, and we spoke on the phone and everything like that. That was some time back, but I did get paid for that. They paid me for my time for that, which was great. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Haven't really heard anything from them since, but that was a fun experience for me. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool, being able to make art for a mahjong collector's thing. That was pretty neat. Yeah, so gigs are around, man. They're around. And you can definitely make money as an artist. People always like try to say like, oh, you'll never make it as an artist, and like, you know, try and say that like if you choose the path of the artist, you're gonna be like a starving artist or something like that. I feel like there's a lot that you can actually do to make money doing the art thing. It's just, it is like something that you need to dedicate yourself to, but there's money to be made in it. It can be lucrative if you do it right, but you kind of have to treat it like a business. And of course, if I wanted to seek out like a whole bunch of freelance work, that'd be one way to do it. But honestly, I'm not ready to sink that kind of energy into something like that yet until my daughter Robin is in school. Because when she's finally in school, then I can like really actually like, you know, have a job that I can dedicate that kind of time to during the day while she's out anyways. And then I just go pick her up from school, and then everything's all hunky-dory. But yeah, like during the day and everything like that, I'm watching her, I'm entertaining her and stuff like that. So anytime that I have to myself is at night, and even this is kind of stretching it, because like this and my Etsy and everything like that, it cuts into my sleep. It does. But it's important to me because I want to build the foundation for something that is more, that's something that I'm trying to build up my portfolio so that I can actually have a career in art. So that is it's a pretty big goal. But I've honestly been taking a lot of tips and stuff and learning from a lot of really wonderful people on the internet who actually offer their amazing advice and stuff like that for people who are kind of trying to take the path that I try to take, that I am currently trying to work toward. So I figure like now, while my daughter's young, I'm just going to try to lay the groundwork, basically, for everything that I want out of, like, an art career. I'm definitely going to have to work on that kind of stuff right now so that I can jump into it with both feet and actually, you know, have a little bit of that head start or a little bit of a push, a little bit of leverage, just because I did lay that groundwork for myself for the future. Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Very exciting. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in that regard. And then I can really push for those things. It's just, yeah, it's very exciting. I'm excited to be able to dedicate myself to doing that kind of stuff a lot more. For now, we're just kind of just kind of working on just leisurely making art, really. And I'm not trying to stress about it so much. Like, I posted my artwork in a dragon group kind of recently, and like 2 different people contacted me about commissioning. And I'm not trying to be super mean or anything like that, but they were like in my message requests, so like, you know, they don't know that I saw them basically, but I am excited that they did that. But I'm also like, I'm always getting those kinds of DMs, and they're really great, but like, I don't want to be committing myself to commissions all the time, especially since they're really not the most lucrative form of art. And I mean, it's something to help build my resume, I guess, but I don't know. I want to enjoy the process while I can and try and build up my own solid body of work that isn't all, you know, illustrations for other people. I mean, I can do that, but I just feel like doing my own stuff is a little bit more rewarding in the long run. Whereas if I went ahead and took some illustration jobs now, it might be like rewarding right away. Like, I might actually get maybe a decent chunk of money. Maybe they would pay me good. Maybe they would pay me okay. Or maybe they even wouldn't pay me. I don't know these people. So maybe they are not really trustworthy. I don't know. But I'm just not trying to take those jobs right now. Because yeah, like they don't always do too well for your portfolio, and you might not even really be able to show them, and you might not really have the, I don't know, you might be able to add it to your portfolio, or you might not really have like the rights, or might not retain the rights to your work. It just really depends on who you're working with, and I don't know these people. They're not a company, they're random people like that are reaching out to me that have not established themselves as a business that I can look into. So right now I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm not really responding to those requests, but I'm not saying that it's wrong for them to reach out. I'm just saying it's just not what I'm going for right now, and I'm kind of not in the mood to negotiate that, or not really in the mood to deal with people in case they don't really want to pay, or, you know, like there are a lot of those people out there that are just kind of willing to act like they want to commission you. I've had a few friends do that to me who would, you know, commission something from me, but they can't pay, or like, oh, I'll pay you later. Can you make the art now? And then you make the art, and then they never pay. And it's like, well, then I just hold on to it. Plus, you're spending a lot of time on creating something you aren't really passionate about. Exactly. It's a time sinkhole. It's something that I have to focus my passion and my energy into something that I'm not genuinely passionate about. And that it kind of shows. It kind of shows in the art. Like, it really does. Like, it's not hard to see. It's not hard to spot. If an artist is not passionate about the artwork that they're creating, it's not hard to spot. And you really have to psych yourself up into it 100 times more than if you're already passionate about the subject. And I haven't like had the best experiences with those types of commissions and things like that. Like, I have not had the best experiences because people are always really trying to there are a lot of people out there that are trying to pull one over on you, honestly, and I hate to say it, but it's really true. There have been like too many instances in my past where somebody who I thought I could trust really just, and like the best experiences I have had were with companies. or with people who have purchased directly from my Etsy shop because they're giving me the money up front. And when the money comes up front, then obviously I hold myself more accountable and I really put myself 100% into it. Also, I listed it, so by listing it, I am actually giving my permission for them to commission something. When someone reaches out to me, it's not like I have that listing up. It's not like I had said I am open for commissions. They're just reaching out to me. A little forced, I imagine. Up front is the only way to fly. Yes, and there are ways that you can, like, I haven't done this before, and I don't really think that I want to, but there are ways that, like, you could set it up so that, like, say you will accept, like, you need like 50% up front or something like that, and then you can work on it, and like that's like a non-refundable cost, so that they kind of have to dedicate to it. Like they actually have to, you know, hold themselves to, like they have to hold themselves a little bit accountable to stay in touch with you, and to, like, as an artist, stay in touch with you, and to, like, actually check in and, like, you know, actually be invested in everything, and, like, actually fully pay you when you're finished. So, like, yeah. I feel like the worst thing about it is, like, when you get ghosted, or when you get excuses like, oh, I can't pay and stuff like that, like, later on. Stuff, it happens all the time. It's very insulting, really. I mean, I have had friends who have done it, and it's like I still love them as people. I still consider them friends. But they don't know what they're doing. And what really makes me sad is one friend has done that to me, and then went on and commissioned some other people who are like furry artists, and it's like, I could have done 1,000 times better. And I actually did. I made her artwork, but she never paid me, so she never got the artwork. But because I posted that artwork as kind of my own thing on DeviantArt after the fact, somebody actually came along and paid me to use that artwork for their business. So, dude, like, at least somebody paid me for it, you know? It ended up working out in the end. I thought it was really awesome. Yeah, he ended up paying me a little bit more than what I would have charged for my friend. So, it ended up working out, and it's just really insulting when somebody just kind of goes and does that, but that's okay. You know what? I'm better off for it. It's fine. Somebody bought the artwork, used it for their business, which I think is really super cool. They're using it for like a Python tutor bot on Twitter, and they said that they intended to monetize it, and then they have a business name as well. They have an LLC, so it ended up being really great for me. I actually had it so that like I made a license for it. Like I drafted up a nice license for it, license agreement. It was just like a, you know, you can use this for monetary purposes, and basically, and it's like, yeah. So I just drafted up a license for it, and that was really easy to do. Honestly, I just used a template. There are templates available online for those types of things. And yeah, it was really great. And we both signed it, and we both have a copy, and he was very cooperative, and he actually reached out to me initially. Initially, he reached out to me from, like, DeviantArt, but, like, I felt kind of bad because I wasn't really checking DeviantArt, you know, like I didn't know that anybody was like actually contacting me from DeviantArt at all. I wouldn't have known. And then he messaged me on Etsy. And then I was just like, oh, because he hunted me down, dude. Like, he found me on DeviantArt, he found the original piece, and then he, I guess, probably searched Google or something for me and ended up finding me on Etsy, and then I saw it right away because it's my Etsy. Like, I have that linked up so that I can actually really see, so I can see, like, stuff right away, because I'm kind of timed on Etsy replies. Those types of things are, like, super important to be on good standing with Etsy as a platform, because if you're not tentative and you're not like replying to your messages, then you do get docked for that and your visibility might tank, which is very silly, but that's just the way that the platform goes. Yeah, and it worked out really well. Exactly. It was just, I felt so like hopeless about it. And it's funny too, because that was one that I made like a million mugs out of. That design, I was just like, I was so irritated that I made that for somebody who was not interested in paying. I was upset about it, and so I tried to print it on mugs. And I went through a print company, and like they like screwed that up so bad. They were like unsellable, not good. Most of them came in broken, like, so I was just like, oh well, screw this. And then like later on, like I get that message and like that dude's actually like interested, you know? So I was really excited about that. We're gonna try to get kind of like a nice little glittering, like water surface a little bit over here. I want that to look kind of light. And we want this to look like, I feel like I want this to look kind of like extra light over here. Yeah, okay. And then I kind of want to do like something like this. Nice little brush. Just get a little bit of texture going on over here. How does that look? Hard to say, but it does kind of look a little bit like ripples now. Sort of. But it's good that I downloaded a few like images for reference so that I can kind of know what I'm doing a little bit. Just yeah. All right, and then over here, I suppose I can use a little bit more of like a deeper gray. Let's kind of shimmy on over here. Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. Okay. Pretty excited about that. It's like that feeling when it's like, okay, all is not lost. Like you actually did something with that, and now you can breathe, because and I wasn't really holding my breath over it, honestly. It had been years by the time somebody actually reached out, but it just felt nice, you know? It just felt nice that somebody was actually willing to pay, and it wasn't even the original person. Like, it was just kind of neat. Something about that was just really really awesome and neat. There. So we're looking at a little bit of ocean, surface going on over here. I'll probably add some like light rays or something. Hard to say what I want to do with that, but I might want to get some of the seams over here and just try to make it kind of look okay on the background, just kind of close up the spots and make maybe harder edges so that we can see the dragon a little bit better, because he's just kind of fading into the background over here now. Let's say that I can probably use quite a bit of white over here. Oh, thank you! I appreciate you. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you so very much. I am doing my best. Not quite done yet, but we've got so much to do. And you know what? Tonight's a good night to focus on composition because I'm not wearing my glasses. And composition is a very easy thing to do. Details, I don't think I could possibly do that without my glasses. But composition is a pretty easy thing to handle without being able to see too well, because it's more of a big picture sort of thing. And yeah, it's really not too complicated. It's more of like a thumbnail sort of thing. So if you can't see too well and if shapes are blurry, that's sort of an advantage, honestly. It doesn't sound like that could ever be an advantage, but it definitely is. Because you don't want details to cloud your mind. You want the big picture first, and then you kind of want to zoom in on those details once you have the full composition the way that you want it. Yeah, super important. We'll just say that that's kind of where that needs to be. This. And this. Maybe bring that up a little bit or down a little bit. I can't really tell what looks better. Maybe I want the bottom one. So we'll just go ahead and kind of cover that up with some gray paint. Get a little bit in here as well. There we go. A little bit more dark paint. I might want to get a little bit of black mixed into this paint here so that I can get like a harder edge. Yep. Guess I don't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. Besides, I did get those cool new Twitch rewards, so if anybody wants to use them, there are some fun things that you can do. You can either have my bird Brewster pop up on the screen, my bird Pecco pop up on the screen, or you can switch the theme over to something that I kind of put together yesterday and called Nightfire. And that is a theme that I kind of designed from the one that I currently have. It's just the one that I have right now is like a paint texture, my theme, and then I the color is set to a palette that I thought was aesthetically pleasing, and then I have a nice little video overlay over that, but it's a very subtle, like bokeh sort of look to it. So basically kind of like blurred shining spots. They're kind of animated motion. And then for the Nightfire theme, basically that's quite a bit brighter against a darker version of the background that I currently have. So I kind of like just changed the color palette a little bit and I made it quite a lot darker, sort of like it's at nighttime, hence the name Nightfire. I had a lot of fun with that. I have it set up so that I have it set up with something called Trigger Fire that I'm using. It's very neat. Very cool service that allows you to do those types of things. Yep. And honestly, I am just I had a field day with that. I really did. A few friends who wanted to commission me, who are interested in that, and who definitely meant well too. And kind of like in recent times too, I think that they definitely, there's one person who's interested in something from me, but they haven't really paid or anything like that, and I'm not really interested in pushing it or anything like that, and they were kind of wondering when I could work on it, but it's like, if you're not going to pay me, I'm probably not going to do it. I have to be stubborn, because I don't like being taken advantage of in that. Like, I don't want my art to be like a giveaway. Like, I'm not an art charity. You can probably get somebody to do your request, but you know, if there are people who are taking requests, they're probably people who have a lot of time on their hands. They are probably kids, and that's not to say that they are like not skilled, but they definitely don't mind doing free stuff, and some people don't, but honestly, I would rather get paid for what I do or enjoy it. So requests are now go. I don't mean to be like art snob or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's just I gotta be like really passionate about it. I gotta be passionate about the subject. And you know, if I'm not passionate about the subject and it's a commission, I can, if I really focus, I can really get into it mentally. But honestly, first off, it's not always going to happen. And second, and if it's not going to happen, that's when I would just like decline. like if somebody told me to draw, like, I don't know, their grandmother or something, I would respectfully decline, because that's just not in my, it's just not in my genre. It's like not even close, and then there are those people who don't like actually look at your previous work, so like what they ask for is like not anything like what you do. like say you go to a watercolor artist who only works in traditional, and then like say, hey, I want like this vector design so I can make t-shirts. It's like that's not in their field. Like don't do that. If you have like solid if you have something like solid that's from their portfolio that they have indeed done though, it's like, yeah, go for it. But if you say like, hey, hey, still life artist, you should draw me the dragons. Like, no, they're probably gonna say no. Okay, so this tail needs to be kind of a little bit thicker right here. And then we need to kind of understand the composition of the tail over here. We're gonna try and get ourselves a nice little fin. So I'm really gonna start painting fast now, because what I want is to get kind of like a really nice fin design, like a fin pattern over here. Ooh, that one's leaking a little bit. Whoops. A little too much water there. I guess that's something I should probably be wary of with this particular gesso, because it's just so, like, the canvas doesn't actually absorb any of the water. So if I get the paint a little bit too watery, it just kind of drips down. But it's still better than having a super porous canvas that's super dry and drinking up all of the water from my paint, because that's really hard to work with. This is actually quite a bit better. This gesso that I'm using, it is a game changer. This stuff is a game changer. I am really glad that I switched to this stuff to prime my canvas, because the other stuff was like giving me, like, I didn't even know that I was having a hard time. I mean, I guess I did, but I didn't realize that the gesso could be like the thing that resolves the issues that I was having. How do you spell that? Gesso. Gesso? Yeah, it sounds like gesso, or it looks like gesso, but it's pronounced gesso. Yeah, that's exactly right. Gesso. Yeah, so that stuff it's really, it's for priming canvases. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to apply a minimum of 2 coats. Awesome, yeah, before everything was drying up. Yes, it was. The stuff that I was using before was really chalky. So what you're supposed to do to apply it is you're supposed to go in a cross-hatching pattern and go over it 2 times, minimum of 2 times 2 coats. And then you're technically supposed to buff it with something. I have sandpaper, like I have grit paper that you can just, but I didn't do that any of the times. I've done it one time before, and it's like, if I have a lot of time to prep the canvas, then yeah, I might do that, but I haven't really done that before. This time around, I just, like, because that's kind of an optional step. You don't technically need to do that, but it will help with the texture issues that you're gonna get with a canvas. And even though the pre-stretched canvases that I have are technically gessoed, it is very poor quality. It is very, very thin, and it really doesn't work. So it's almost like if you add gesso to these pre-stretched ones that I have, like these Artist Loft ones, technically you're adding extra, but like I wouldn't use the base canvas that they give you because it is not good. Like, like I don't recommend it. So the gesso that I normally use is a white gesso. It's just a really massive bucket of the stuff. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and it served me well, I guess. But I'm gonna be real, it really wasn't that good. I thought it was good. It was definitely better than painting on the canvases like naked, because the canvases straight up are just very, very hard to paint on the way that they come. But and I have done that before. But yeah, so I would like use that white gesso when I finally switched over to like using that. And it for sure was better, but like this stuff is way, way better. It actually seals in the canvas. Like it seals everything so that the canvas isn't actually pulling any of the moisture out of the paints. It's literally just setting straight on there. But yes, it was just drying up right on the canvas, so hard to work with, you know? So I'm really thinking that this has solved that issue, and then I won't have to worry about it anymore, which is amazing. There's too much water on that. In fact, if there's any kind of problem, I am having issues with too much water, but that's a very, very, very easy fix. Way better than not enough water. You would think that just adding water would fix that, but I'll tell you it doesn't. It doesn't fix that. It does not fix it. It actually like can ruin the consistency, and if you try to add water, it might just soak it up again. It's just a nightmare. The whole thing. When it's too dry out too, like if it's just got, like if for some reason Arizona is dry as a bone, and it is all the time, then yeah, those are days that I'll have issues. In particular, those are days that are like probably the worst out of all of them. This is so much fun, so entertaining. I love painting. The time just flies, man. It's already like almost 1. Got a bit of time left though. We have more than an hour. Okay. Yeah, so since the rebranding and everything like that, I was really thinking, you know, I'm probably not going to have so many issues with, you know, like I was thinking that pretty much all of my orders and everything that I was working on with my shop pretty much be over, and I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. I wouldn't have to worry about the mountains of orders of keychains until I set up my underground thing fully, which I haven't fully set up yet. That's still a work in progress. I'm just working on a million things at once, and it's just not super high on my priority list right now. It was for a second, but I'm kind of enjoying the break. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was enjoying the break from the keychains, but somebody reached out to me recently, and their order was lost in transit since last month. So I filed for a report, for like a lost package report, for USPS. So they're investigating the package, and I filed that like 2 weeks ago, and I told them I would basically give USPS 2 weeks before I actually resend the package, remake and resend. And it's a dozen keychains. It's not a massive order, but it's also not a little order. It's 12 keychains. So I'm kind of upset about that because I have to remake them and resend them. And it's just kind of frustrating. Like, USPS has really been losing a lot of packages lately, so that's kind of just a problem to deal with. And so I thought that the whole keychain nightmare was over, and I thought I could like really just rest. But I do have to recreate that order. In fact, I have already, it's almost done, really. I just have some resin to do, and it should be pretty much all set, and then I can schedule for it to get picked up. I think like on the 24th is like the soonest day that they'll take it, that I can schedule for like a package pickup. But it's just kind of frustrating a little bit, you know? I just thought I would be all right there and not have to worry about those darn keychains. But here I am, having to remake an order that USPS lost. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. It's been lost in transit. They haven't updated the tracking on it since April 13th. So, naturally, I'm a little freaked out. And that was like well after I sent it too. Like, it was lost in transit. It probably, I think it was sent like April 7th or something like that. And this girl was massively patient, so she waited until like the beginning of this month to contact me. And then, I was like, okay, so here's what we'll do. I will send in a report. Usually they push it through, yada yada, the whole spiel. Usually they push it through if you send in like a missing package report, and like that does happen, and usually it does get pushed through. But this time around, it didn't. It's been 2 weeks and there's no updates, and I can't seem to get any updates from USPS on the status of the investigation either. They're just not giving me email updates or anything. There's nothing. I'm not getting anything. And so I'm just like, okay, well, I'm at a loss. That means I have to recreate the whole darn thing. So that's very frustrating. And, well, I'll give her the option. I'm going to recreate it anyways. I'm already working on it. But I'll give her the option for a refund because I filed for an insurance claim on it because it's not a small order. Like I said, it's not a small order. And, what if they already ordered something to kind of replace the function of what they were trying to order from me? Like, there's a possibility that they've done that. So I want to be able to offer the option that they can get a refund as well. That's there. That's an option if they want. And I'll still get paid for the order. Like, and if I have to resend another one, I'm still getting my insurance money on it, because I did file for insurance through a third party, and I used Pirate Ship to do it, so you can actually pay for insurance on a package, and all of my packages $20 and over are insured so that I don't get screwed over. Like, all of those larger packages, I make sure I insure them for things like this, which don't happen often. I have never actually had to file a claim. But this time around, I do have to file a claim. And I already did, and they said, they looked over everything and they said it looks pretty good, and they said I should be able to be reimbursed in, like, I think a month is when it gets deposited. So yeah, it is good. I paid for insurance. I paid for insurance on larger orders. I think it's only like 75 cents to a couple dollars more with your tracking in order to insure something. And with the larger ones, it's like, yeah. And it's a pretty flat rate. Like, it's not, I think it's a flat rate to insure a package in first class. So it's a first class package. I think you could only do like up to $200 or $300 or something like that, but it was not that much anyways. It was only like I think it was like a $60 order or something like that, so it would have sucked, of course, if I had to resend that and not be paid for that. But yeah, definitely file for insurance if you are sending packages of like $20 or over value, definitely insure. Especially right now with USPS, because they're screwing everything up right now. I don't really trust them like I used to trust them. And it's not their fault either. I am definitely not bashing USPS. I actually think that they do the best that they can. And I think in most cases, the workers have a lot of integrity. But their funding is cut, and we all know that. So it's really not their fault so much. I mean, some really weird stuff's happening, and the workers, maybe they are pretty much fed up, you know, like their hours are horrible, and you know, they're running late a lot, they're understaffed. Like, it's just kind of it sucks right now. It's not good. Yeah, so. But insurance is really smart right now. I've literally never had any problems like this with USPS. I have had problems where like they would mark something delivered too early and then not actually deliver it, and then they would essentially do that to have it there on time or something, or meet some quotas, I'm guessing. But that used to be a pretty common issue. Now stuff is legitimately getting stuck in transit. Like marking something delivered early is like a very poor thing that they do. That's like one of my pet peeves when they do that, because that means that the seller is now responsible. Or actually, it's technically marked delivered, so it's like, it's delivered, but it's not there. So then that becomes a problem. It's like no longer a problem for USPS. They're not accountable anymore once they've marked something delivered. So either that falls on the seller or the buyer. So that puts a lot of pressure on us to resolve things. And it's just, it's a pain in the butt. It's a huge pain in the butt. Because they'll contact me and they'll say, like, where is my package? It says it's delivered, but it's not here. So I have to explain for USPS. Like, it's literally not my job. I'm not the one delivering the packages. But it's still important that I explain what I think is going on. So I have to tell them what I think is going on, which is usually the case. They mark things delivered like a day or two early sometimes to, I think, to meet quotas, which is ridiculous. But I think what I've heard is what they might do is they mark things delivered before it actually goes on the truck, but the truck is too full. So instead of marking something delivered, when they drop it off, they're trying to cut corners essentially, but they can't actually fit the package on their truck. So it has to go out the next day. It's in the queue for the next day to be delivered. I think that's what I've heard in like a forum from an actual worker. So yeah, at least there are people out there that explain that kind of happens. Thankful for the internet. You know, it's very useful to find that kind of information because you're hearing it straight from the people who actually see it, witness it, and participate in that firsthand. Instead of having to make wild guesses, because I don't think I would have known that, or even would have guessed that, really. So, All right, so let's kind of add some gray leading into here. Here we go. Are you ready? Here I goes. Oh my goodness. So Brewster, my Indian ringneck Brewster, he's never really been one to be held. He's like super skittish and everything like that. And he's lately been really awesome about like trying to make an effort to like reach out to me. Like he wants, you know, a little bit of attention and stuff. He's been hanging out really close to me a lot. He's landed on me a couple of times. Yesterday, I was kind of laying down in the morning and he flew over and he flew on me a few times when he thought that I was asleep, but I wasn't actually asleep. But I just held still. And he had come over in the past few days, he had come over to my hand and touched my hand. Maybe he's trying to follow Pecco's cues. I think so. So like he's actually trying to make an effort to like to reach out to me and actually like, you know, touch my hand and stuff like that. And earlier when he did that, earlier today, he actually came over and he touched my thumb a few times. Pecco, of course, was like, I think Pecco was trying to show him that my thumb is like you can touch my thumb and it's not gonna hurt you. And he was actually like, Pecco was too aggressive and he was actually kind of like biting down on my thumb and stuff. And it's almost like he's showing Brewster like, yeah, see, you can bite down, it's totally okay. Like she's not gonna hurt you. You can just chomp on this. And I'm just like, Pecco, stop it. And but a few days ago, Brewster had come over and touched my finger a couple of times with his beak. He bit down a little bit too hard the first couple of times, and he would like grab on, and then I pulled away when he would grab on a little bit too hard. So I was like kind of uncomfortable because those times it actually kind of hurt. I don't think he meant to. He was definitely nervous. You could see the fear in his eyes. But he did that. And I pulled away the times that it was too much, and then I told him be gentle. And then he was gentle. And then I praised him. I said, good boy. I told him that he was gentle that time and he did a great job. And he like paraded around like he was super proud of himself. And it was super cute. And then he was done. He didn't want to anymore. He calls it quits when he feels like he has succeeded in what he wanted to do. But today, he did it again, and he did it more times than the last time. He did it more, and every single time he was gentle. He did not hurt me one bit. He grabbed onto my thumb. He just like kind of put his beak around and like licked me with his little bird tongue. And he did that a few times. He did that probably like, I think around 7 or so times he did it. Yeah, it's so cute. I was so happy about that. But he's really making an effort. So he did that probably about 7 or so times until he finally was done. I praised him. I said, you did really well. I said, you were gentle. Thank you. And he looked super proud of himself. Like, he was just so happy about it. And I offered, like, you want to do it again? And he was done. He was like, nope. And he, you know, flew off. Of course, he didn't say nope, but you could tell he was done. He was like, you know, declining on that offer. And he flew off, and he was good after that. But yeah, I was just so happy about that. He's really been making a lot of effort to kind of come out of his shell more. I feel like he's probably got like maybe some past trauma from that place that he used to live at. I don't know why he's so scared of people. But just based on the way that he acts around people and just like I don't know. I feel like he's probably seen more than we know. I feel like maybe those people were no good. And that tiny little cage that he was in and everything like that, I'm glad we got to take that cage, but I just don't think he was treated well. And in the picture that I initially saw him in, he was in that same cage and he just looked like terrified in the corner, like hissing and stuff in the picture. But I totally fell in love with him, like his little picture. I totally fell in love with that bird. So that place was a mess. Man, I wish I could have seen. Yeah, I know that you went in there and everything like that, and you know better than anybody. Was it kind of like a hoarder home or something? Since you went to go pick him up. Which I appreciate so very much, by the way. He's an amazing pet. He's super skittish. It's not his fault. You know, I try to be super patient with him because I'm sure he's been through a lot. I don't know what he's been through, but he's like my little adoptive feather son that's just like super, super terrified of everybody. You know, can't blame him. I feel like he has very good intentions. He doesn't mean to hurt. Just tons of cages and stuff. It's so weird. That's so, like... And you said that the cages were all, like, a mess and everything, too. Is it, like... It's bizarre. I wonder if they were, like, breeding birds or what they were doing. I don't know. It was so weird how they, like, weren't home themselves and how they had to have, like, some girl that was, like a friend or something that was there to give the bird to us. I don't know what was going on, man, but I'm sure Brewster has seen some things in his life. Poor baby. Yeah, just a bunch of birds that they collected but didn't want to care for them. That's so sad. I hate that. I really hate that. It's like, you know, if you're gonna get pets, like, commit yourself to their well-being. Like, make sure you can take care of them because you're messing with a life. Like, that's the life of an animal, and you know, we're nothing but animals. I mean, we should really respect the lives of animals. You know, like, it's just really sad. Like, I don't know what he saw or what he had been through, but just based on what I have seen from him, it's just not, there's something that's not right. Like, he's not. I feel like he's seen some things. I don't think they were taking care of the humans there either. Oh. Do they have kids there that they weren't, like, caring for? Like, super neglectful? Oh my gosh. Ooh. I think I remember you telling me about them having, like, a 2-year-old that was, like, running around, like, feral or something. I don't know. It's really weird. Really concerning. Kids just in that mess. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, that doesn't sound safe. Yeah, a toddler. They have way too much going on. Oh my gosh. That's so weird. What the heck? God. Well, I'm really glad Brewster is with us now. We care very, very much for him. And, I feel bad for the other animals and for the kid, too. But, you know, can't save everybody, you know what I mean? We can't save everybody. I should say we. You went and got him, you know? You went and picked him up. I just paid for him. You went all the way to Kingston to go pick him up, and so I was just like, yeah, I was just excited to have an Indian ringneck, you know, but yeah, he's definitely not handleable. But I was so excited to have him and Pecco returned and everything like that. I was super excited. I'm like, now I have two birds. Like when my boy Pecco's back and they've gotten along and now they love each other. Kingman. I'm an idiot. Did I say Kingston? So stupid. Right? I mean, it was just a rural poverty. Can never say rural. Rural. Tongue-tied. Yeah, I think I remember, like, when we were looking at the Google Maps view of it, it really did look like there were, like, junkyard scraps and stuff. Like, that's the way that it just looks. It's very... Kingman. Like, Jamaica? Yep, the whole place was like that. Like, just junkyard scraps. So weird. That place sounds so weird. So, like, Kingman looked like that. I don't know why I said Kingston. I was like, why is this name, why am I saying Kingston? I was like, that feels, like, wrong. That doesn't sound right. That explains it. Kingston's, like, probably the name of just some person that I went to school with. And that's what it sounds like to me. That's what's ringing a bell right now. It sounds more like somebody that I went to school with. I actually went by Kingston. Kingmanizio. Kingston, Jamaica. Okay, yeah. I was like, Kingston sounds like something, but I didn't know that it was, you know, Kingston, Jamaica. I didn't know that. Yeah. Interesting and fascinating. Here we go. We're getting closer to done with this underpainting, right? Getting a little close to finishing it. We have 1 more hour to finish it. Yep. Let me think. I probably kind of want to put a little bit of his spikes behind his head. Yeah, but that's not super important right now. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm just gonna try and get into here. So we did like all of this up here. We're working on the fin down here. Making some decent progress tonight. I mean, heck, it's not perfect, but we are making progress. gotta iron out some of these details and stuff like that. And just gotta get the composition right and everything like that. And I kind of want to add like a little bit of seaweed maybe, like right here that it's holding on to. A little bit of seaweed coming up on here, and then probably a little seaweed coming from the corners over here. I want to hide a little sea turtle in the background over here. I do. Of course, I just kind of messed that up a little bit, but oh well. I do want to add like a little sea turtle, just kind of like a silhouette hiding in there. Just a little nod to an old friend, Chris. She's one of the old coworkers at when I worked at Starbucks. She's a sea turtle lady. She loves her sea turtles, and I just felt like it would be a nice little inclusion, you know. It would look good in the painting. Little sea turtle silhouette. Yeah, adorable. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun adding that little sea turtle. For sure. I kind of want to do like make this like maybe this the start of the fin. I don't know. Maybe something like that. And I can kind of do like that. Oh, I'm trying to imagine the values here. Probably kind of dark. Probably make that a very dark gray. Oh my goodness! What is this? Warlock Omen, thank you so much for the follow. You are awesome. I appreciate you very much. Yes. I do. I'm a little bit spacey right now, so forgive me if I'm kind of quiet a bit. Right now, tonight, I am just working on like the values and stuff with this painting. I'm just working on the grayscale underpainting. So it's not really the most exciting part, but it will get better. I think it'll get better as we move closer to the final product. But for now, we are working with grayscale. So let's kind of make that dark. I think what I initially did was, that's okay, I can actually fix that up later. Sorry, I'm so quiet, you guys. Just super focused. Trying to get these shapes right. Alright, I think it's amazing. I would buy it in gray. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I don't think I could leave a painting in grayscale. You know how I am. I have to make everything. Oh, there's no way I would sell it like this. There's no way. This is a very sloppy underpainting that is, grayscale. Don't worry, you've been doing fine. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you very, very much. Yeah, right now I'm just kind of a little tired. I probably sound like really out of it, but I am, so, you know. That's just the way it goes. But I do have another 45 minutes on the clock here. So So I'm still going to be kind of chilling, and hopefully I finish this underpainting. That would be amazing. And then the next session I could actually start on like color and stuff. That'd be really great. I do love to do color, but I really can't jump into it. I have to do the composition first. I have to do the underpainting. Starting with grayscale is super important because it really helps with the colors on top. It helps the colors pop quite a bit more. So, some people do their underpaintings with like, you know, a mixture of gesso and paint. And they'll use like hues, like really light, really desaturated hues that kind of serve as the base. And then when you paint colors on top of it, it kind of regulates the color a little bit. And it kind of makes it like a little bit of that hue. So like say if I use like a cool tinted underpainting, like let's just imagine that I like made it like a really cool color. Some people do that and then they paint over that, but I like to start like totally gray because it helps me see the composition with just the values and not cloud that with details like color. Like color, I feel like color afterwards is a lot easier. You can separate that and kind of pay attention to your values first. And your values really tie in your composition. Okay. So what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna darken this quite a bit. I'm just gonna like fill that in, and then I'm really gonna like go over that part with like the lighter gray, probably fix that up a bit. Okay, because we are definitely missing a piece there of his little wing. So we're gonna try to fix that up. But first, alright. First, yeah, I think I'm gonna try and go over this first, and then I'm just gonna, ooh, that's too much. That's okay, I have shop towels. They are made for this. Perfect. Very cool. The only physical painting stuff I've seen recently is Bob Ross. Ooh, I'm following the Bob Ross channel. I love the weekend painting, the weekend marathon that they do. Yeah, Bob Ross is fun. I think he mostly works in oil. I think he mostly does like oil painting. Which is really fun to watch. I've never actually painted in oil before, but I've been kind of curious to try it. It looks like it mixes really nicely, and it looks like it applies very nicely. I like to work with acrylic, so that's what this is. But I would really like to try, I really actually like to try oil, but at the same time I'm kind of nervous too because I know that it's very fumey. At least so I've heard that it's kind of like, you know, kind of fumey. It's got a lot of chemicals and stuff in it. Yeah, there are some channels out there that I know of that I've seen anyways, that do some physical paintings and stuff. Just, you know, there have just been some people around. There's actually, speaking of Bob Ross, there is somebody on Twitch that I follow, and he found me, and he is the Black Bob Ross on Twitch, and he does physical paintings as well, but I think he also does a lot of gaming streams, so I'm not really sure what he's been up to lately since I haven't seen him on my notifications, but there's him, and then there are a few others that I can't really name off the top of my head that that do also do like physical painting or physical art as well. But I feel like that's kind of a few and far between, and I don't know. It's just, I think it's because it's a lot of equipment to deal with. And it's a lot of extra stuff. Like, you have to have the canvas and stuff, and you have to have, like, the physical paints. You have to have the easel. I didn't start out with the easel, actually. Gammy Loves Robin here, she gave me an easel, which is amazing. That's the one that I'm using now. I actually used to paint on the floor. I was holding on to it. Streaming it on the floor, and people are just like, what the heck? This girl's crazy. I am crazy. That's, that's okay. It's okay if people think that. I don't mind. That's why I was fine streaming it to begin with, like just holding on to it on the floor. I really don't care. But that was fun. And now I'm using an easel. There are all sorts of people that actually do physical paint. There's this one girl. I think she's... I'm trying to remember what her username is. She found me pretty early on. I think she was the first painting channel that I saw on here. There are some people around, man, but I feel like it's just few and far between because there's just so much extra setup. It's easier to stream like a digital art. And that is because all you really have to do is have the software, and you have to, just have your streaming software, which you would have anyways, like OBS or something, and then link that up. Have like a Windows source and just set it up that way. People I think, for the most part, they just do the digital art. I was doing the digital art, and I'll do digital art once in a while. I think this is what I really like to do. This is probably my favorite. A bit of a chatterbox. When I get to talking, I talk a little too much, I guess. There's a little too many words coming out of my mouth. Talking in circles, driving people away with my running mouth. Joking, I really don't care. Okay, so we're gonna try and get some highlights in here. How does that look? I guess it's fine. Alright, so now I can move on to this, I suppose. There we go. Yeah, there's a fair number of physical painters, but while I was browsing around, yours seemed really pretty. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me to hear. I appreciate you very, very much. It means a lot to me, it does. I'm just, I'm just working on underpainting too. I mean, I'm just not even... I feel like it's not even that interesting, But I'll feel better about it, I think, once I start working on the colors. But the composition right now, I'm just really trying to nail down that composition before I really start working on the details, stuff like that. This is where it all starts. This kind of stuff, man, it does take a while, though. It takes quite a bit of sessions. I'm on my second session right now. The first session was just kind of like loose drawing, and then I started on the grayscale. So I essentially just kind of drew out the composition very loosely. Then I started working on grayscale. I didn't really get too far into that, but I did make a bit of progress tonight. We have like a little over half an hour to go. But hopefully in that time frame, we can at least finish up the underpainting. That would be ideal. And if we don't, that's okay. I'm in no hurry or anything like that. I don't have any kind of deadline or anything like that. Seeing people do something they enjoy is always interesting. Also, I tend to like grayscale stuff. Well, thank you. Yeah. I prefer, yeah, like I've done some commissions and stuff on stream before, but I feel like when I'm like actually doing something that I really want to enjoy, you can probably tell. You can probably tell that I'm like enjoying this more because I get kind of more into it. I enter that flow state quite a bit more. I might get kind of quiet, and I might actually really start to like get all excited about like lines and the way something like, I don't know. I get kind of weird. You can probably just sense my excitement about it. And yeah, the grayscale stuff is fun. That unfortunately will be disappearing eventually, but hopefully for the better. So I know that that's kind of fun, and I know it's hard to say goodbye to grayscale. But the colors and stuff like that, they're going to pop. I really love working with color. A lot. It's definitely my favorite part. But the grayscale, it is wonderful. You actually really can get better composition just by focusing on that first anyways. Better lighting. It's a good chance to pay really close attention to like lighting details and stuff like that. I'm excited to see what colors you pick. It's gonna be very cool colors, but so far kind of what I have in mind is this guy's going to be very ocean life inspired. Just based on things that I have seen, and also a bit of my own twist. I want to kind of like along his body kind of add like a little bit of a pattern. I want him to be like pretty blue and you know, have a little bit of reflection or flecks of green in the way that his scales shine. I want the scales to kind of shine in almost almost like a chameleon or translucent, like just a really like it's kind of like chameleon pigments, how they shift, how they color shift. I want his scales to look like that. And I also want to add some like orange or something, like just really, like a really unique kind of stripy sort of looking pattern. That's, I just have these ideas in my head. And then also for the horns, those are going to be like a coral, and they'll be like a coral colored sort of horns. So they'll look kind of wacky. He's going to look very ocean life inspired. He's like, I've got plans for him. And then the background and everything like that too. We've got our light kind of shining through, glimmering, you know, through the surface of the water. And so that's going to be really fun. We're going to have like a turtle silhouette somewhere over here, just real small out in the distance, a detail there. I want to add like one of those giant clams kind of in this corner over here, so hopefully I can get into that tonight. If I can't, that's okay. Maybe I can downsize my sun lion so we can actually get a better look. He's kind of in the way, huh? But we'll at least be able to see that a little bit better, I think. If I don't get to it next session, or this session, I'll definitely get to it next session. Because we're making some pretty decent progress here tonight. It's pretty important. This kind of stuff does take a while, but, you know, it's fun because I'm taking my sweet time on it because I'm really enjoying it and I want it to look great. I think color lends itself better to the painting, but I really like pen drawing, so I think that's why I like grayscale. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So like comic book style stuff, is that kind of more akin to the style of art that you're more drawn to, I would say? There's some really awesome comic artists out there. They tend to be like the most awesome people. Just nice, you know, just really nice, and really like the comic book artists. Just very chill people, you know. So we're just gonna try and fill in this negative space a little bit. But over here, like these little hands and everything like that, that's gonna be a little hard for me to go over because I'm going to have to. Oh. I just realized my phone was going off. It always scares me. Okay, so I have like a sleep timer for my daughter's nightlight for her room, and like it alerts me when it's going off, and it scares me every time. I'm like, why is my phone going off and vibrating at this hour? I never learn. I literally never learn. I do read a lot of comics, but I don't know how to describe the style of visual arts that's my favorite. Interesting. So it's not necessarily comics. Maybe so like you're saying like, you know, pen drawings, maybe like ink, perhaps. Just really inky drawings, pen and ink. Pen and ink can look really nice. Let's get some more gray. Like a dark gray. And we're gonna, oh, that's too dark. Not that dark. I want it to be a little lighter. It's just really important to map out the values first. If I don't map out the values, then I don't know what I'm doing. Pretty much. I don't know, I'm not a natural visual artist, so I'm not clued into all the technical terms, but I really appreciate visual arts. Oh, that's awesome! No worries at all. No worries at all. I'm not trying to confuse you or anything, I'm sorry. Sorry if I, you know, use all these ridiculous terms and stuff like that. I'm not super clued into everything either. I mean, I'll help the best that I can, but I really don't. I don't know everything, especially like when it comes to stuff like I had just mentioned comic book art. I don't know a whole lot about it, considering I don't do that. That's not really my field. It's not really the thing that I do, but I really can appreciate it in the same fashion. As for this, I just really found a love for like painting with acrylics when I went to community college and I had a color theory class. We pretty much did all of our color mixing and everything like that with just acrylic paints. And some people preferred to use other paints, but for the most part we used just acrylics. And I just totally fell in love with the medium. See, before I was just using colored pencil. And I love colored pencil, but man, it takes so long, dude. And it's expensive. Like, colored pencil takes forever. Like, you have to, like, the way that I would do it is I would use Bristol board. Bristol board's it's a really, like, smooth but very thick, almost cardstock-like paper. It's extremely smooth though. Like, anything that you draw on it, any pigments, it just glides right on with very little texture. It's just a very, very smooth surface. So even though it was a very smooth surface to lay your pigments on, it would still, like, kind of, like, the colored pencil would still kind of clump up a little bit. So in addition to using that, you would also, like, have to burnish. And so the way that I would burnish in order to kind of make it more smooth is I would go over everything with white colored pencil on top of that. So it was just a whole process, like, and of course, since you're working with pencils, it's like, you know, the tip is a very, very fine, it's really fine. It's not like a paintbrush where it's like, you know, you can kind of get like that thin look, but you can also kind of make it like really thick. Or you can just use varying brushes and everything. It's not like that. It takes so long. So when I started using acrylic paint, I was just super obsessed because it's so much quicker and you can still get that same kind of detail but go over so much more surface area in such, like, little time. Like, you don't need to take like 12 years to draw with this tiny little, I don't know, pencil nib for 12 years just to get the same amount of detail. Or, you know, you can just do so much more with paint. I was just so excited to use it. You can get richer colors, you can do it quicker. It's just, there's so many reasons for me to do paint instead of colored pencil. I mean, after I started doing paint, like, I couldn't understand using pencil anymore. Like, it's not more cost effective, it's not more time efficient. Like, there's just, I couldn't find any reasons personally. I'm sure people really love their colored pencils, but when I just kind of moved over to paints, I couldn't anymore. There was no way. But when it comes to pretty much anything else, I mean, I can do digital art, but most mediums I'm just not really. Watercolor I cannot do. I can't do watercolor. I used to do watercolor a lot, and I thought I hated painting because I'm not good at watercolor, but that's just not, you know, it just wasn't my thing. And that's totally okay. It's all good. Doesn't need to be my thing. Okay. Alrighty. So let's just kind of go over this thing here. I'm going to start working on this part again. Yeah. I'm really excited about the composition, the way that it's coming along. So the way that I initially imagined this painting was that this dragon was actually going to be like much smaller, like like really small and like a lot more cutesy and like wrapped around like a giant clamshell. But I changed things up when I started sketching, and I just like, and it just was giant on the canvas. I just rolled with it, and I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm just doing this, I guess. Watercolor is nice, but for me it's hard to find watercolor pieces that stand out. Oh, I love watercolor. I think that it looks so pretty, but I can't seem to get it to look right for me. And maybe that is because I'm always trying to go too bold with it. I think it's because this is kind of more my pace, more my style. And watercolor is just very light and very pastel and stuff. And while I really enjoy the aesthetic, I can't seem to get it to work for me, and I think that's probably why. I think I'm just really no good at it, but I think that's just because... I think that's honestly just because I tried to go too bold with it and, you know, end up trying to make it look more like something like I'm working on right now, you know? It doesn't need to be pushed that direction. I have a friend who is fantastic at watercolor. I think he goes by like Technomage or Technicolor Magician or something. Not really sure what his username is these days, but he's a really awesome artist. I met him on DeviantArt, I want to say, oh my gosh, it's been like 15 years, I think, when I had met him and Piran Artist, or Piranha 2021, depending on what site you're looking at. She's a fantastic artist as well. So it's like Piran Artist is usually what she goes by. And we were kind of like groupies and stuff, and he ended up like going into like doing watercolor stuff. I think now mostly he just does digital art, but my god, he is the watercolor master. He does very well with watercolor, and I don't understand it. I can't. I can't do it, you know? This music has been on point. Ooh. Well, I appreciate that you like the music. I really do. Now this one is from Bomberman 64. I love this track. This is a very, very underrated soundtrack. Super underrated. It has been many games that I grew up with. Yes. Yeah, it's one of those ones. I played that one. I think we only rented it from Blockbuster because, you know, old people be old people. You know what I mean? Blockbusters, yeah. It was way back in the day when we used to rent from them. And we rented Bomberman 64, and I remember really liking the soundtrack of that one in particular. Like, the other Bomberman games are like, okay. I have some of the Bomberman, like, tracks in the music queue, but, like, that one in particular, I just remember that soundtrack just being really nice. Blend that like that. We'll just call that good, I guess. And then let me think. I'm gonna kind of darken that up a little bit. And try to get around here again. I'm so ADHD. Oh my gosh. I start one thing and then I go, oh, look. There's a thing I can fill in over there. Let me just wander over there. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I never finished this one part that I initially set out to finish. And I did that probably 3 times with this area, right over here. I don't know what is wrong with me. I'm just not... I'm just all over the place, you know? Structure? What's that? You know? That's how it is. thinking maybe, nah, I think it's probably fine like that. Yeah, that's a little bit patched up then. Lighten that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Alright, and then I'll probably go over that again at some point. Not super important right now. There. Alright, so what was I doing again? Oh yeah, I was gonna put it here. That's what I was gonna do. I think I'm just gonna try to fill in some of this color here and I'm gonna try to, I wonder if I can, let's get some like really bright highlights over here. Maybe try to darken this up a little bit. Let's try and get a little bit of dynamic lighting going on. Okay, I'm really just like fill in. Now this looks totally nuts, but it'll start to make sense in a sec. Totally looks like chaos. It'll start to make a little bit more sense as soon as I start filling in. This is kind of what I'm seeing in my head here. Just try and get a little bit of dynamic lighting going on. Just, you know, high contrast. Try to bring in some kind of like glittering white. Just light highlights that come through on the fin. Alright, some more of this white. Okay. Here we go. Right, there we go. Okay. I need to figure out what to do here. I think I'm gonna try and get a better thumbnail view of this thing. I kind of feel like maybe I should cut it off so that it doesn't actually go that far up. Like, do we really need it to? I mean, maybe. Might as well. Hold on. I think I can make this work, but I think I have to kind of re-angle that spike right there. Yeah. That's alright. And then this one too. We're gonna try and re-angle these a little bit. I want that to be darker. We're just gonna take this spike here. We're just gonna angle it. Tap on like so. Just like that. Okay. And then let's take a look now. It looks a little bit better. I do need to kind of bring up the darker hue. There we go. Okay. Okay. I think that pretty much does it right there. So let's go ahead and just try and fill that in. Fix up this lighting. Just fix this up a little bit. Get our gradients nice and smooth. Probably want that to be quite a bit darker. Right. Here we go. Alright, let's get some white in there. I'm gonna try to fix up this over here. Doing a lot of fixing right now. Alright, how does that look so far? Okay. We're starting to see these fins show up here now. I do need to fix this up. I left that one undone. Yes, I did. Alrighty. Okay. Now I do need to kind of continue to move along this area over here. And, wow. Making good progress tonight. Wow, we have like 7 minutes left. What the heck? Where did the time go? Where did the time go? What the heck? But before I forget though, I do kind of see like some things. I feel like I need to adjust. Yeah, okay. Maybe kind of like a little bit of white paint. Okay. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Right there. Right there. Awesome. Let me think. Probably I like really kind of want to add some kind of seaweed there or something. That's gonna be hard for me to really like do. I'm gonna have to look at pictures of seaweed just to kind of like know what I'm doing. I think I kind of have like an idea of what I want to put here, but I kind of want like those little dragon hands to be kind of in or on or over some seaweed. Have a little bit of it just kind of coming up and around like that. Be good. Okay. And let's think. Start to kind of add a little bit in here. Ah, there we go. Just dry brushing a little bit. There we go. Okay. A little bit of white paint. Okay, get a little more white paint. Just trying to get these little spine spikes, just kind of like little fin spikes over here. Darken that up the best that we can. And we have like 3 minutes left. I'm trying to beat the clock here. I'm gonna try to get some rest tonight after this. Alright, let's get some more white paint, get a little bit of gradient going. How is that looking? I have to keep looking back at the thumbnail view, the extra thumbnail view. I like to look into the camera itself that's picking up the footage because the screen is so small. You can get like the perfect thumbnail view without having to really back up and look at it at weird angles looking at it through a camera lens just helps me. It just really helps me understand what I'm doing with the composition. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm so quiet, you guys. I just am super focused. I'm in that flow state. You know how it is? Flow state when you're just kind of in the zone, not thinking about much, but except what you're actually working on, like what's in front of you. I love that feeling. We're going to make that a bit lighter. I'll lead it into a white. Alright, how is that looking? A bit better. Always making improvements. That is super important. I do want that to be quite a bit darker though. Ah, it's 2:02. Don't worry. It helps force me to work on my finals. Ah, finals. Well, that's good then. That kind of stuff does require a lot of concentration. So I think I'm pretty much going to wrap it up as soon as I blend this in here. Just about ready to call it a night. Almost. Let's try and get that blended in there and then we'll call it good. We do need a lighter gray. There's no way. There's no way I'm leaving it like that. A bit lighter. Just continue to add a bit of white until we can get a gradient. Not that much. It's so silly. hard edge right there. Soft edge right here. Okay, how's that looking? Perhaps a bit better? I'm not really sure. We're not quite done, but we have made quite a bit of progress tonight. I'm kind of surprised we haven't finished up the underpainting quite yet. But that is no worries. Like I had said before, I'm not in any kind of rush with this thing. It'll probably take a million sessions, just like all my other stuff. So I think that about wraps it up for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Warlock Omen. I appreciate you very much. And thank you so much for the follow as well. It means a lot to me. I hope I can catch you next time. I am on Thursdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 p.m. So it goes on. That's Mountain Central or Mountain Standard Time. So that can definitely vary depending on where you're at. But you can totally check my stream schedule. And that'll be it. Have a super good night. Thank you so much for joining me. Gammy Loves Robin. Bye.